then you can go with the facts and table it. It used to happen during the first term of Uhuru.
Yeah. It
happened within a short while when Kibaki was in power after our 2010 constitution. People would go with facts before any panel or any appointing authority. And respect would be paid to those provisions. And until we are able to live up to those provisions of our constitution, as a country, with this kind of breakdown that you are seeing in our system, we'll be there.
All right.
I mean, look at how is it that we ended up with Mwaura having been appointed as the chairman of Kenya Revenue Authority? It's actually that judgment. Konyo has gone out of his way to bring out these issues in that judgment. And he's saying it's really an interesting thing that somebody who was facing charges in court or even a nature that related to the office that he was being appointed to would have even been considered for that position in the first place. And I'm encouraging Kenyans to look up the judgment by Gekonyo.
Just how much?
E009 of 2023.
And that is very interesting. We have very many interesting judgments.
And I tell you, it clearly brings out. And now that you have brought up this issue, if one pays attention to this judgment, it actually then puts a very big question mark of those people who are allowed to run for offices while they are facing charges under the cover that innocent until proven guilty, which is Article 50, I think, 2A. And he is clearly saying that's not the case. That's not the way. The issue of integrity must be looked at differently from the possibility of your being convicted or otherwise.
How often will judgments set precedents? I know now, of course, in future judgments or perhaps to future judgments. And I know we have occurrences where we have used, previous judgments to guide us. Kioko Kilukumi would want to talk about this form of judgments that we have witnessed before. But how often will this be allowed? And especially when we have such, standings of law as to what you say, innocent until you're proven guilty, holding ground still.
A young man from, I think, Nyandarua, called Josiah Mwangi Kariuki, most likely an offspring of the JM Kariuki, sent me a text earlier on in the evening. And he said, we are now tired of politicians. We want leaders, people who can help us turn this country as quickly as we can, because we have no time to waste. This kind of oversights or anomalies, disregard of provisions of the Constitution, rulings that have been made by the court, including the Supreme Court, will continue for as long as Kenyans themselves also decide to bring on board individuals of integrity. And I really liked that young man who said, we want leaders, not politicians anymore, leaders, not politicians anymore. And I will be very happy to engage him. So it is not going to be for too long. We have a generation that is impatient with people who have disregard of the Constitution, and also people who give, just talk to these issues. And again, go back to, because this, by the way, it's my son, who is also in the 20s, who also pointed out this judgment to me, said, you've been struggling in some of these issues. Honorable Justice Gekonyo seems to have addressed some of the issues, and I looked at it in the course of the day, and I would want to encourage many people to look at it, and especially lawyers, because it also goes I think it also addresses an issue that is going to be a thorny issue in the coming days, and an issue that perhaps you allow me to mention, because as a Secretary General to Jubilee Party, it's important that we advise any governor who may be a governor on our ticket, for heaven's sake,
be keen on.
Be careful. The worst that you can allow to happen to you is to be impeached.